Good morning. How are you?
Lovely.
Are you good? My name's Kai, as was mentioned, my beautiful wife Sam and Sophia are joining me this morning. And the title of this morning's message is When the Wine Runs Out.
Wow.
When the wine runs out. So 2018, it was new wine in old wineskins. This morning we started singing, Water You Turned Into Wine.
Yeah.
And then now I'm preaching on
Amazing, eh?
When the Wine Runs Out. And I didn't even remember that in 2018 I spoke on that, but it's an absolute privilege to be here. So could you turn in your Bibles to John chapter 2, please? Over the past few weeks, you guys have been looking at the names of Jesus.
Yeah.
We've been running through encounters with Jesus at 3CI. And my heart this morning is, just as I sat at Bible College and 3 rows in front of me was Sam, and I had not met Sam yet, I just saw her neck, and I knew that I was in trouble. Because I couldn't remember anything that the guy was talking about. I just stared at this neck. And my prayer this morning is that as we stare at Jesus,
Beautiful, babe.
as we discover really the first name that he ever revealed, that we would fall in love. That we would fall in love with Jesus.
Amazing.
In John's gospel, he reveals himself progressively. He comes up with these incredible I am statements. He says, I am the bread of life. I am the light of the world. I am the good shepherd. I am the resurrection and the life. But before he gets to any of these incredible I am statements, we get to this wedding. And he reveals himself in the first way ever as the true groom. The true bridegroom.
Wow.
So as people, we love to announce our arrival. Am I right?
Yeah.
We love to show that we've arrived. So if Foxy's in the room, how does he announce his arrival? Not by whistling. Hey? No, not by whistling. I listened to that sermon, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was like, that whistling wasn't great, fruit. They're terrible whistling. Shame. But you can learn. You can learn. So I wonder how we announce our arrival in Benoni. Hey? Could it be with the size of our bra? I don't know. Maybe? Yeah. Come round to my house. Have you checked out my bra? What? My bra is... yes, some of you are laughing. So I know you've done this. Okay? If it's not your bra, maybe it's your boat. Okay? How much fishing gear can you fit on one boat? I want to ask you. Are there any fishermen around here? There's a couple. Okay. Do you have a fish finder for your fish finder? Let me ask you that. You do. You do have a fish finder for the fish finder. I know. Well, you know what they say the 5 B's of Benoni are? There's braai, boats, bakkies, bakkies, boots, and betties. And so we love to announce our place in the world in different ways. Just let me show you that I've arrived. It could be the car that you drive, or come around to my house and check out how big my bra is, or whatever it is, or even the title on your business card. I love looking at LinkedIn profiles. I don't know if you've seen any of it in a while, but we have a few strange ones in 3CR. So I'll just share some of them with you. At 3CR, we have a global change maker. It's pretty good, okay? One of my favorite was brand igniter. I'm sure that's Rory. I'm 100% it's Rory. There's a wizard of light bulb moments. That's incredible. And then my personal favorite, and I'm still waiting to find this person, it's a digital overlord.
Wow.
Okay? I mean, that's incredible. Anyway, so we love to announce that we've arrived. So it's pretty incredible that Jesus' first reveal, the first time he ever announces to the world, this is who I am, happens at just an ordinary wedding. So I have a pretty embarrassing story just to share with you. Can I tell you about my first reveal when I was working as an executive at Coca-Cola? So I'd worked for this promotion for many, many years. And finally, I got invited to what's it called? The Executive Leadership Quarterly Review. You know, with a name like that, you know that it's actually going to be a special time. So I arrived at this thing. I was a young kippie, and I knew that the promotion was right there. And all I had to do for the next 2 days was just to keep my head down, not say anything too stupid, and just survive. Okay. And the culmination of this entire leadership review was a formal dinner. And our American MD at the time, he was known as the turnaround king. And he was a typical seagull leader. I don't know if you know what a seagull leader is. Any seagull leaders out there? No. Someone's laughing because you work for a seagull leader. So a seagull leader is someone that swoops in, right, to the bottom. And as they're swooping in, they like to deposit these nuggets of wisdom before they fly away, right? And then they come swooping in again, and they deposit nuggets of wisdom. And he was typically like that. And he was a scary guy. I was petrified of the man, because he just had an answer for everything. Even if you were right, he was right. You know that kind of scenario. And anyway, so we get to this formal dinner, and right at the end, he clinks his glass and goes, ding, 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 ding. And now this is my best American accent, so bear with me. Says, when I used to run the bottling operations of Norway, we used to have a tradition called tat for nakken. You guys know what tat for nakken is? In this tradition, the newest member of the tribe must prove his worth to the elders by spontaneously giving an insightful speech, expanding on a proverb that brings about new wisdom. So you know what's coming next. And in my mind, I'm like, please, Lord, no. Not me. Please don't ask me to speak. I don't want to speak. And please will you stand and give us your tat for nakken. And as I stood up, I went completely blank. I was like, when there's like crickets, there's not a single thought is in your mind. You just like, okay, then I start panicking. I said, just start speaking, just start saying something. So I start going, it's so fantastic to be here. I just want to thank everyone. And look how amazing all of you guys are. And I look up to you so much. And as I'm talking, I'm like going, this is not a tat for nakken. This is not a new proverb. I'm not bringing about any new wisdom over here. I don't even know what a tat for nakken is. What is a tat for nakken? And I'm speaking rubbish, and I'm just thinking this is going from worse to worse. And the only thing that pops into my head comes from this guy called DJ Bobo. And I say, just before I sit down, guys, it's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. And 30 executives are staring at me in horror, going, what is this kid on about? So that was my big reveal as an executive, as an intro into the executive team at Coca-Cola, a complete and utter fail. And the lesson to be taken from that, if you're going to have a reveal, if you're going to announce yourself to the world, now you're the Messiah. Sure. You're the King of Kings. How do you plan this? Is it a massive press release? Is it like a big LED screen? What is it? Sure. But you would think some planning went into it, but it was just at an ordinary wedding. Amazing, bro. And Jesus chooses this ordinary wedding because he wants to reveal to us that he is the true groom. So let's read in John chapter 2. Jesus changes water into wine. On the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said, "They have no more wine." "Woman, why do you involve me?" Jesus replied, "My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." They did so, and the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. But you have saved the best until now." What Jesus did here in Cana of Galilee was the first of the signs through which he revealed his glory, and the disciples believed in him. A few things to point out. First, the reveal happens at an ordinary wedding, and Jesus is at this wedding. So too are some of his disciples and his mother Mary. Mary is the only one that is mentioned by name besides Jesus. All the other disciples, the bride, the groom, the master of the banquet, they all remain anonymous, but Mary is named. So we need to put a special mark behind Mary. And weddings in those days, they lasted up to 7 days. So for 2 days, everything is happening. Ordinary moments, good moments, celebration, everything is happening. Beautiful times are being had. But then on the 3rd day, on which day? The 3rd day. On the 3rd day, the wine runs out. Now let's get into the deeper meaning of the wine running out. John is showing us that we all have this moment. We all have this moment in our lives when on the outside, the celebration is happening, but on the inside, the supply is gone. It's like the taps run dry, the fuel tank is empty. There's nothing left to sustain the celebration, and it's just a matter of time before the guests start leaving. Sure. You see, the story is not about wine. This is a story about emptiness. The marriage still exists, but there's no love. There's no joy. There's no peace. There's just this emptiness. The job still pays, but there's no fulfillment. It's a grind. There's an emptiness. Your family still gathers together, but they do it out of duty because there's just this emptiness. And you might lie in bed at night, and according to the world, everything that you have is just so great. And everyone can see you are so successful. You have all the money in the world, whatever you think, all the things you need. But when you really lie in bed with just your thoughts, you feel empty. And the bottom line is this, is that without God in our lives, there is always an emptiness. Nicky Gumbel, the founder of the Alpha course, describes it this way. He said, "There's a God-shaped vacuum in the heart of every human being, which cannot be filled by any created thing, but only by God, the Creator made known through Jesus Christ." There's a God-shaped vacuum inside each one of our hearts. There's like this God-shaped hole that can only be filled by the Creator. It can only be filled by Jesus Christ. And we all feel this hunger. And we spend our lives trying to fill it with success, and with money, and with relationships, and with pleasure. We think, yeah, you know what? I just need a holiday. I just need to get through this season. If I can just have some time off, then I'll feel full again. And God is saying, no. When the wine runs out, I'm the only one that can step into your life and fill you. So 3 points this morning. Are you with me?
Good God. Keep going. Well done, bud.
Good. I'm going to keep going. Thank you, Foxy. 3 points this morning. Point number 1, Jesus is the only one that can fill our emptiness. Point number 2, Jesus is the true groom. And point number 3, Mary shows us how to respond. Okay, point number 1, Jesus is the only one that can fill us. Running out of wine at a wedding in those days would have been a social disaster. It would have been shameful with the family and embarrassment for the groom. It was the groom's responsibility to ensure that there was adequate provision. So if the celebration would have run out of wine, everybody would have been looking at the groom going, this guy didn't have enough. Shame, shame, shame. But this isn't really about Jesus trying to save embarrassment for the family. He's saying, I want to show you that I'm actually talking about the emptiness that exists in your life. Because Jesus steps into that moment where human resources have reached their limit. Where all the planning, think about all the planning that you do for a wedding. Think about all the preparation that goes, all the human effort. He says, do you know when you plan for something so much, you've given your absolute best, and it still doesn't work out. And the wine still runs out. It's into that moment that Jesus, want to step in. And that's life. We can keep things going for a while, isn't it? I'm good at keeping on, keeping on. Who's good at keeping on around here, hey? Hey? Benoni spirit. We make a plan. We're going to keep on keeping on. And the reality is that we can sustain it for a little while. We can do it for a day or two, but eventually the wine runs out. And Jesus doesn't respond by saying, I'm going to give you a top up. Here's a coping strategy. Here are 5 steps for you to lead a more fulfilled life. He doesn't say, try harder next time. He says, come. Come, my people. Come, my loved ones. Let me fill you. That's the invitation that he's giving us today, church. And John is building this incredible just crescendo throughout his gospel where he starts out, he says, can you see here in John 2, the wine runs out. Okay? Then in John 4, Jesus meets the Samaritan woman whose relationships have run out. And he says to her, you drawing water from this well. He says, everyone who drinks from this water, from this earthly water, they will be thirsty again. You try and sustain yourself with earthly water, you're going to be thirsty again. But whoever drinks the water that I give them will never thirst. And then in John 6, he deals with the hunger of the world. He says, let me feed the masses. Let me feed the thousands. And he says to them, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never, ever go hungry. And whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. And then in John 10:10, he says, let me show you that the world can never, ever, ever, ever give you what I am offering you. He says, the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. The world's coming only to take. But I have come to give. And I've come to give you life. And life to the world. You see what, to the full. You see what John's doing here. He's saying wine that doesn't run out. Water that doesn't leave you thirsty. Bread that doesn't leave you hungry. Jesus isn't topping up your life. He's saying you're thirsty because you were made for me. You're hungry because you were made for me, and you're empty because I'm the only one. I am the only one that can fill you. And it takes place at a wedding. It takes place at a wedding because a wedding is the perfect setting. It's the perfect setting because Jesus isn't offering this once-off miracle. He is offering himself. He's saying every day, every walk, every moment, I'm offering you myself. A wedding speaks of covenant. A wedding speaks of commitment. A wedding speaks of a shared life. Jesus is saying, I want to fill you. And I want to walk with you. And I want to be with you. I want to be the one that walks every single moment with you. When you feel empty, I'm there. I'm there to fill you. I'm there to fill you. You were made for me. And here's the name. Here's the name that he wants to reveal to us this morning. Is that Jesus at the wedding doesn't just provide the wine, but he steps into the role of the groom. Sure. Jesus is the true groom. Remember, it was the groom's responsibility to ensure that the wedding had enough provision. But he failed. The wine ran out. But then the master of the banquet goes and praises the groom and says, hey, man, this is incredible. You saved the best for last. How did you do this? No one does that. But the groom did nothing. He did nothing. He couldn't do anything. But Jesus did everything. And without fanfare, without applause, without some spotlight on him, without some great announcement to say, hey, guys, hello, here I am. I'm about to do my first miracle. He doesn't do any of that. Quietly, in the background. He bears the weight. He takes responsibility. He carries the cost. And he creates this abundant wine. And he takes these jars, and it's such a beautiful story. Takes these jars that are meant for ceremonial washing. Okay? Water and jars that are linked to human effort, to humans trying to clean themselves, to trying to be enough. And he turns that into the best wine. And that's the gospel. That's the good news. No amount of self-cleansing, no amount of self-help can actually save us. No amount of effort can fill what is empty inside, but Jesus can. And in that moment, he says, listen, I want to show you that I am the true sustainer of this celebration. I'm the true sustainer of this life. I'm the only one that can provide and supply what you cannot, what the groom cannot, what you can try and do. You cannot. I am the true groom. I am the true groom. I am the one that can walk with you every single day and help you in this life. So how do we respond when the wine runs out, when we feel empty inside? And that's really where Mary comes in. This is so cool. So Mary shows us how to respond. Point number 3. So at first, the interaction between Mary and Jesus seems a little bit strange. Did you catch it when I read it? It's like, woman, why do you involve me? My hour has not yet come. It's like, it seemed that Jesus, that's a little bit rude, And I don't know if when I was growing up, but there was just no ways that I was going to be able to call my mama woman. That was only going to end absolutely one way. Like, boy, who are you calling woman? Come up here, Jesus. I'm not afraid to give you a good old hard in front of all these guests. I can just imagine the kind of interaction that could have taken place. But the incredible thing is that Mary doesn't get offended. She must have known, there's only one that can sort this problem out. I heard the angels years ago. I know who he is. So I'm not going to get offended. So she does two incredible things that we can learn today. The first, she doesn't try to fix the problem. She doesn't start getting involved, saying, okay, who else has got some wine out there? Guys, anybody got wine? We need more wine. She simply turns to Jesus and states the need. They have no more wine. They have run out. Jesus, I'm empty. No long prayer, no explanation, no theological discourse or anything. Just, Jesus, I'm empty. Jesus, I can't. Jesus, will you help me? Complete honesty and complete trust. And then the second thing she does is that she obeys. She then turns to the servants and says, do whatever he tells you.
Sure.
Hey, isn't that incredible?
Good, buddy.
Complete trust and then complete obedience. And you see what the servants do. They're not instructed to fill jars to the brim, but they fill it to the brim. Another translation says they fill it to overflowing. Jesus didn't say do it, but that's complete obedience. They're not obeying him half-heartedly. They're saying, I'm going to fill this thing. I'm going to take a chance here, Jesus. I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm going to fill it to the brim. Complete obedience. And somewhere between the filling and the pouring, this water becomes wine, not just any wine, but the best wine, and an absolute abundance, life to the full.
Good, buddy.
Hey? Isn't Jesus incredible? Quietly turning water into wine, revealing, I am the true bridegroom. So my big reveal, and we're coming in for landing, not the seagull landing, just the normal one. So my big reveal didn't go as planned. Would you say? It was a little bit awkward, a little bit embarrassing. And just to let you know, I actually, after a few years down the line, I Googled, what is a tatfanaken? Do you know that it doesn't exist? Hey? The closest thing I got was like a tatfamaten, which is a completely different thing. But anyway, but how's that go? I mean, really. So my reveal didn't go as planned. But Jesus' reveal is so different. You know? There's no fanfare. There's no big announcement. There's no stage. There's no big speech that he needs to give. He just quietly sits there and he bears the weight and he takes responsibility. Isn't that powerful? And he says, you know that third day at the wedding? You know when the wine ran out? When the jars were empty? Can I show you a better third day? When the tomb's going to be empty? And you know that third day, when human effort failed, where the groom failed, where it feels like you have failed, where you can't anymore, and you pray that prayer, Jesus, I can't. Jesus, I am empty. Can I show you this other third day where I reveal exactly who I am and I rose in victory and I showed the world that I am the Messiah. I am the sustainer of all things. I am the true bridegroom and I am the only one. I am the only one that can fill the emptiness that is inside of every single one of our human hearts. So where do you turn when the wine runs out?
Very good.
Amen.
Amen. Beautiful. Beautiful.